Now is it working? There it goes. Let's see if this is even on. We're prime time. All right, I said in my last live, which was at 4:30-ish, that I would do another one at 7 o'clock. In that amount of time, I have gained 8 pounds. 8. The sugar fasting has taken a turn for the worst. It's storming again. Imagine that. It's summer storming. Well, it's not summer quite yet. But anyway, back to me, because it's all that matters. It has been, I am shaking a little bit. I have heat building up everywhere, especially in the love handle region, the gut region, the breast region. 8 pounds in such a short amount of time is not even alarming anymore. I just don't even know what to say anymore. I just don't even know what to say about anything anymore. So it's just like, oh, okay, that happened. But I do live in a very liberal city. Well, I think most of the quiet ones are actually conservative, and then like at least a quarter of the super loud liberals are actually probably conservative, but we'll call it a liberal city. You know, the true liberals for the most part, because they are victims for everything. And you hear them talking on the subway about how they were victimized. You know, I make jokes on YouTube, but by and large, I don't really actually, you know, that's just not really me. I'm like, oh, okay, that happened. Or you get them like there's a Chinese mother and daughter walking up the street like earlier and talking about how there's not enough diversity in the classroom. And I look at them and I say, why don't you go back to China and tell them about your diversity and stay there, because we didn't ask you to come. And they didn't take too kindly to that, but I gained 8 pounds. I was pissed. I had to be a victim. And yeah, so I asked them where they were from, and of course they were from China, so it was right on point. And so that happened. And then so now I'm thinking, how big do you have to be to apply to become your own zip code? And when they ask what happened to you, you can say, well, I was on the sugar diet, sugar fasting with pure salt. And they'll be like, you are a victim. We'll give you a zip code to your own. Here you go. You're that big. And it feels like it. I feel like a buoy, land whale. Like I could get my own zip code at this point. And maybe I will. We'll see what happens with that. So the salt thing, I hate salt so much. So importing salt into my vessel has been rough for me, but my humor's a bit back. The Chinese thing actually did happen though. So those of you who are mad about that, it happened already. So what are you going to do? But the rest of it, I'm going to try it out. We'll see. Maybe I'll lay my head down tonight and immediately fall asleep. I'm actually just kidding about the Chinese thing. So believe whichever one you want to. But you do hear people complaining about everything on the subway, and you know immediately who they are. So I'm thinking maybe if I play the victim card hard enough, I can get my own zip code based on eating salt. It's been quite a day. But I did get a walk in. I got a little bit of sun. My hair is doing something. I have zits forming over here from sweating outside. But at least the sun was out until the storm started coming in again. It's like lightning and thundering. I had while I was on the last live, I had somebody ask me if I want to go down to Philly tonight. But by the time I called him back, he was already on the highway. That sucks. I would have gone down with him. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully, I haven't checked if there's any chats yet. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But the V8, man, I don't know how people do it. I've got the 1.5 left. I don't think I can do it again. Like, you feel like the cool kid drinking it. And then the stomach. Like, and another thing is when you watch, like, the Japanese have the highest rate of stomach cancer of any living creature. And I always thought it was because they eat raw fish. But according to the Japanese, it's because they eat so much salt. And I always thought that was nonsense because salt actually adds to your stomach acid, which should technically help you. But after having that, like, punch in the gut from the V8 and, like, ugh, you know, like, of the salt, you know, it might be plausible that it causes stomach acid. And I'm not saying that if you have a V8, you're going to get stomach acid or stomach cancer, but I don't know. It was not great. But anyway, this is my video. This is how I'm choosing to spend my night. Juneteenth is today. Imagine that. Yeah, it's storming on Juneteenth. Oh no. Let's check if there's any chat people. 282? No, I'm at 283 point something. Preach, I am. I'm listening to the live stream while washing dishes. I have been relegated to dishwasher. Can Chris, the Fabulous Body, coach you on what? Starving myself? I can do that myself. What the fuck? You're not as big as you think, so stop being mean to yourself. Naughty. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. It's so much water retention. It's not even funny, but it's also a lot of heat buildup. You know, there used to be this, I think it's gone, unfortunately. I couldn't wait to be there again or try it or go there again. There used to be this place called Pearls. It was in Manhattan. I'm pretty sure it was in Lower Manhattan. It's been years since I was there. Lower Manhattan. And they used to put so much salt on the food that you felt like you were having a heart attack. And everybody that worked there was skinny. But I can't find it anymore. Pearls was actually in a number of movies even. It was hard to get in there. It took hours sometimes of waiting in line to get into that place. But that food had so much salt on it, it was almost comical. So I'm not at that level from today. Actually, somebody actually wrote about it. Nora something that wrote, You've Got Mail. Nora, I think her first name was Nora. Actually, I saw an article of hers a long time ago talking about pearls and talking about, like, the fact that you felt like your heart was going to race out of your chest because there was so much sodium in the food that he used to serve. Long time no see. You were just on it earlier. This is an experiment. I'll try it out. I'll try anything out that will allow for sleepage to happen. Now, I have the last 4 nights, knock on glass, slept, but, and admittedly, I know I'm probably low in salt. It resonated with me. I did talk to him today. I asked him how much salt that I should eat. And he said, well, go by based on how your body feels. And I'm thinking, you're telling me not to do that based on calories, but I'm allowed to do it with salt. And I hate salt. I own no salt, actually. It's like socks. I don't own socks either. I don't like socks. Raining here in Beeville, too. I like watching storms in the evening. I can't see anything. There's 5 floors of building right in front of me, so I can't. The corridor's right here. I guess if I went in the other room, I could see it. Salt makes you thin because the Japanese have 20 grams a day. Again, we'll see. I'm going to experiment with it. I'm drinking low sodium V8 for potassium and a little salt. That just doesn't make sense to me, man. If you're going to go for it, you know? Hope you're doing well. Well, we'll see. Hello. I use and love the taste of birdie baja, sea salt, low sodium, and rich in minerals. Well, the point of adding sodium in is to add sodium. Seeing you not giving up gives me so much hope. Just wanted to let you know. Thank you. I'll let you know if I get my zip code. I think I told you in the past I went years without salt, but got less watery and skinnier when I ate salt in abundance. Yes, you did tell me that. Do you wear socks in the winter? I own one pair of socks. I think the last time I wore them was in February because my mother yells at me if I don't have socks on in the house. But she usually loses that battle after the first day of me being at their house because I hate socks so much. Especially after my surgery. I have a huge, like 6 or 7 inch incision on my foot. It does not like to be touched by socks at all. Shoes, it can kind of handle for a limited amount of time, but socks, forget it. I've bought the most expensive, like the lightest. I mean, the amount of money I've spent in socks and footwear over the years has been astronomical. You could probably buy a house, unfortunately, with the amount of money I've spent on that stuff over the last 30 years. I started working on it when I was 13, and I'm 44. I started working with the pure intention of trying to figure out a footwear and a sock combination that didn't destroy my foot. Never achieved it. So here we are. I'm hoping this helps me sleep and not the other end of that. And I'm like wide awake, because it's already like 7 something and I'm already like kind of wide awake, sweating a bit, but it is very humid and storming. And that's my story. 13 minutes in already. You guys want to talk about anything? I don't know how many people are even here. Like 3, 4. The problem with this, the Cole message is it's kind of all over the place. Even when he left me messages today, he left. I don't know if he's left me another one. I mean, it's kind of like the other aspect of what he was telling me the last time I talked to him. Wait, what, 44? Holy, I thought you were like 33. Yeah, everybody thinks I'm younger than I am. I'm a Gen X. There's a funny thing about my generation that we looked like we were 30 by the time we were 15, and we still look like we're 30 by the time we're 60. So, yeah, that's just the way life is, I guess. Gen Z, on the other hand, like I'm looking at these Gen Z. That's dangerous about the Gen Z because like they look like they're 25 by the time they're like 10. It's like you got to stay away. Did you work on Wall Street because you have the aptitude? I had a lot of people from Wall Street who wanted me to work there, but at that time, I lived in Philly. I didn't feel like taking the hour and a half a day train ride just to get to Wall Street. I couldn't move to New York at that time because my girlfriend had child custody issues with the father, so she couldn't move out of Pennsylvania. It just never really happened. Did you work? No. The wrong socks got me tendonitis in both feet earlier this year. It was torture. Well, socks are shit. Like, really are. They're trash. They're not good. They're always too small. They're always too small. And this is why my feet, like most people's big toe comes in like this. Like if this is your foot, people's big toe comes in like this. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be a vertical line, basically. It's not supposed to curve in like that. Haha, so true. I'm sure assuming this about Gen X. I'm ashamed to be Gen Z. Laugh my ass off. I mean, you can only be born here when you're born here, but the Gen Zs, they're either very intelligent and easy to talk to, or they're dyeing their hair blue and green and running around Manhattan last Saturday talking about no kings. Meanwhile, there used to be articles about liberals wanting to turn Obama into a king. Make that make sense. And then they're talking about the immigration thing. Well, Obama like deported like 12 million people. They seem to lose track of that. And you know, it's just if anything, Bush actually imported a lot of new friends into the country. They should be friends with him. There's just nothing going on. There's just nothing going on with half of them. Where do you take the energy from to try different methods? I'm getting tired. I don't know. It's a long way to figure it out, I guess. Well, I don't know. Where do I get the energy? You know, I'm like my father. He just keeps going. I just keep going. I don't drink coffee. You know, I just keep going. I just do my thing. It is like this cold air freezing in here. Almost feel like going out and playing in the rain. The energy, I don't know. Like you can either fail yourself or you can at least try, right? You know, that you've got two options. Either fail or or make it. And even if you do fail, at least you tried. You know, like I can't stand people who just sit around wanting people to do everything for them, and I can't stand that crowd. I just can't. I won't be friends with them. I don't even like talking to them. I don't want that stupidity rubbing off of me. Obama and his lovely husband Michael. Oops, I mean Michelle. Oh yeah. I think the two men are getting divorced. Seems like. Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, I am swimming in my own water. This is nuts, man. Cole talks about like at some point it's like like a plug being pulled out of the bathtub and all of a sudden you're pissing like crazy. I'm hoping that happens soon. Time is 30. I am not used to it being this dark at 7:30. I mean, you can't even see outside now. Yeah, I know I keep saying but I'm going to keep running with the salt thing. Running with the night. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sweating like crazy when I'm out on these walks, so I have to be losing a decent amount of salt. Yeah. I don't know. As far as where do you get the energy, I don't know. I mean, what other choice do you really have? You know, I was talking about this to a friend today on the phone, and he and I were talking about back in the 80s, there was a lot of people who went to McDonald's every day for their lunch or maybe even breakfast. None of them were fat. And then in the 90s, they switch over to this peanut oil, and bread starts being GMO. And all of a sudden, everybody's fat. And then they start talking about eating 2,000 calories a day and starving yourself, exercising, over-exercising yourself, eating only bacon, and then the grapefruit diet. It's you can see the long game on their part. Nobody wants to listen to me. Everybody wants to starve themselves and get away with eating as little as humanly possible. It's because this is what's been fed into the diet culture. This is what's been fed into the bodybuilding world. This is what's been fed into just culture as it is. The food pyramid came out. And sooner or later, you have an entire legion of people who are becoming your warriors, and they will blindly tell other people to eat less, move more, exercise more. Doesn't matter that you're miserable and adrenals are screwed. It's just it's weird to me to watch all of this. Um, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but there has to be something going on. Even somebody emailed me yesterday about like we both her and I both came from a generation where this just wasn't a thing. Like nobody was eating less and starving themselves and in the 80s nobody was fat. It's just, and then all these seed oils and things coming out of the sky and all that shit comes around, and next thing you know everyone's fat. I will be interested to follow your investigation. Have been insanely bloated on sugar fast. If you're bloated on the sugar fast, well, I'd have to know what you were actually eating. But sugar does cause die-off, and that can bloat you. Or if you have a lot of like candida or something like that. So what exactly are you doing with your salt intake at the minute? It's been a bit since I really used YouTube or even internet. I'm sick of people's bull online. I think I'm about the most non-bullshit person there is. I just started today drinking V8, adding a bit of salt in. That's really the moral of the story. Yeah, true. What's the alternative? It's basic, but maybe I needed to hear it from you to internalize it. It better knows. I did actually have some people ask me to come do photography stuff with them today, so that's exciting. That's random, I know. I'm just random. But as far as what am I doing? You know, I don't know. Whether it's pride or tariffs or Trump or protein pudding or Switch 2 prices, I'm sick of everyone moaning. The Switch, you have to admit, Ava, that the Switch 2 prices are pathetic. It's ridiculous. And nobody's buying the third-party games either. I just saw like the expectations were even lower than the lowest expectations ever set. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. As far as the salt, I'm just adding salt in. The entire time I've been doing the sugar diet, I have been craving salt like I've never craved in my life. I've been buying pickles and eating pickles and stuff like that. Like, not every day, because, you know, at first he was talking about if you even, you know, sniff salt, you'll gain 3 pounds. I don't know why I listen to everybody. It's like misery. Anyway, we'll see what gets figured out. I'm not going to probably be making any videos the next couple of weeks. I need a break. And we'll see what I eat during that time. I know it's not going to be 100% clean because my mom and dad are going to want to cook. They might want to go out. I mean, this will probably be the last time I'm there this year. I'm probably not going to keep flying back. I don't like being there. It's not my favorite place. If you're in Cleveland and like it, then congrats, you know, but I just don't. What type of salt? You know, I'm not going to get into that. Like, I don't care. It's salt is salt. Like, I can't get into this, like, you know, this salt's better than that. I mean, that's life if you can afford it. Don't buy it. That's inflation. It's not really inflation. No, you know, I don't even get into it. Do you ever have MSG? Not in a long time, since, you know, I don't really have a lot of, I actually haven't had hardly any Chinese food, but that's usually where you see it. I mean, but the thing is as MSG can technically be under natural and artificial flavors. So it could be in the V8. You know, and I don't even know. You know, so that's why it might be better just to make your own version of V8. Although, I don't know how bad MSG is. I tend, anything that's completely ostracized and demonized, I start to think maybe we should be looking at it, you know, in a better light. But maybe I'm wrong with that. But maybe I'm not. Yeah. It's been a lot of salt today, though. I think. I don't know how much, really. Maybe 2 grams. Something like that. Which is a lot for me. I barely get hardly anything most days. Might be more than that. Might be 2 to 3 grams. Which is, again, a lot for me. And that's it. That is my live. I know this is probably very boring. Do you guys have any topics that you want to talk about? Is there anything that you wanted to discuss while I'm here? 25 minutes in. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything wrong with MSG. I really don't. I just can't really. I'm getting a little sick of everything being bad these days. You know, everything's bad for you. It's just another way of creating division with people. You know, like the calories in, calories out versus the doesn't exist people. And then you got the keto carnivore, high carb, low fatters all fighting. And then you got them fighting about salt, no salt. And you got people fighting about like sugar's bad, sugar's going to murder you, and all this other stuff. It's just a heap of shit. It really is. It's just a mechanism that creates absolute turmoil and absolute chaos, which chaos for the most part I kind of like. Calms me down. Join late summary. I applied to have a zip code for myself because I'm that large. I have MSG recently and it's fine. Yeah, I've had MSG before and I was just as fat as I was beforehand. Afterwards. Yeah, I mean, there's really no summary to be had for this episode. It's storming out. I applied to have a zip code in my name, and that was it. And that was it. That is this episode. Oh, and I gained 8 pounds. It's a lot. That is a lot. The more you talk, the more I like you. You are making so much sense. We can be friends. Yeah. Nothing about this diet world makes sense whatsoever. And I say this in every live. How the hell were people eating almost 4,000 calories a day? And this is women included. You know, women are always like, well, you know, I have estrogen. I should only eat 3 calories. I mean, this is women included. On average, 3,875 calories in 1905 people were eating. It was a little less in 1940 at 33,540 calories, depending on where you look. And they were I mean, I was talking about this with my friend today. Like, you know, women were serving their kids milkshakes, eggs, bacon, sausage, like I usually say, and like toast and oatmeal, maybe, I don't know, for breakfast. And people, you know, nobody was fat. They were still dying from the same things we're dying from today. Nothing's changed. But, you know, like, the whole thing's ridiculous. And most of the diseases were in men because they were working with these ultra suspect chemicals at the places that they were working at. If you track, because, you know, it was mostly women at the house and men at work. Like, if you track the men and diseases they had, it really, most of the men who worked in hard labor or whatever with their hands were working with some kind of terrible chemical, and they were dying from cancer. The office workers were getting cancer from smoking. What's the difference from today? Like, nothing's different other than everybody's fat. OMAD is the only way I lost weight, and it sucks. Again, it's another limitation. Why is that a thing? Do we read books about people back in the day? Like, I certainly, like, my family never told me about any of this stuff. Yeah, he starved himself all day, and then he eats when he comes home at night. It's the best way. It's the only way he can keep weight off. Nobody was talking about that shit. When they did the con study in Poland, I think it was Poland, back in some year, 1923 or something like that, those people were being fed 1,800 calories a day just of oil or butter. Just of oil or butter. And then the potatoes were added onto that. And they were losing weight at such a rate that they had to add more fat into it. They were losing weight so much. Man, what is your set point? I don't know. I mean, do you have to have a scanner for the side of your head for that? I don't know what my set point is. My body likes to be at 282 pounds. My dad says some modern sugars have been artificially colored to appear crystal-like, whereas back in the day it was pure crystals. That's possible. What's your best number one health tip? Never diet. Never diet. Don't go on keto. Don't go on carnivore. Don't go high carb, low fat. Don't do any of it. Just eat like a normal person. It's what got me in trouble in the first place. I remember when it started. I remember when it was started. I was at my buddy's house. It was his birthday. And I was first toying around with the idea of keto, which it wasn't really called keto at the time. It was just called like a high fat. I forget what it was even called. And his mother, I remember this day so distinctly. His mother had baked like a really nice and made a nice cake for his birthday and ice cream and all that shit. And I wouldn't eat it. And I remember the look on her face because I had been friends with him at this point almost 20 years. And no, maybe like 13 years or 15, something like that, whatever. And she just, the look of just absolute like this, like disgust or something like that, or just like her feelings were so hurt. And meanwhile, they went on to eat, and he was skinny as a rail. Not skinny. He was built. He was built like crazy. He could, any day of the week, he could go into a bodybuilding competition and he would be fine. My number one advice is never watch my videos or anybody else's videos. Never do any of it. Just run as fast as you can. Preach. I am just as frustrated and confused. There is no confusion. Everybody who watches my channel is an idiot. We all are. I watch my own channel. We're all idiots. We got on to this idea that dieting is a good thing, and we're all failures from it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. My dad does not diet at all. He might have a little gut on him just because he has an obsession with fried food. That man doesn't even know what a diet looks like. He runs circles around me. He runs circles around people who are 20. He's never had an injury. I should knock on wood. He has an injury. He always thought we were idiots. He thought my best friend and I and his brothers and all that were lifting, he thought we were morons for going to the gym. He's like, why don't you just garden? He's the only one in his family that has never been on a diet. He's the only one in his family that isn't obese. Because, you know, if I watch my family, no one in my family was ever on a diet other than my grandmother, who died from dieting, my mother, and now all my fat aunts and uncles and fat cousins. No one dieted. They just ate. They just lived, and then they died. And they were all slender. Most of them lasted to the 90s. And they didn't care about any of it. That is who you should look up to. My uncle, I'll never forget, he lived to like 91 or something like that. He ate whatever the hell he wanted to. He started dinner off with dessert. He said, if I have enough room, after I fill up on all the dessert I want to for regular dinner, I'll eat it. If I don't, forget it. No diseases. He just dropped dead one day. Just like, congratulations, you dropped dead. You don't have to do this anymore. Amen to that. 100% good advice. That's my advice. If you are an early stage diet, fuck it. Don't even watch these videos anymore. I don't even care. I don't make enough money off this to even care. And never turn back. Mel started dieting at 12:50 now and still obsessed with weight and really 100%. That is right there. Read that. That is your life sentence. You will have a life sentence if you start dieting. It's a life sentence. It really is. You will never be happy with yourself. I don't care how skinny you are. I don't care how fat you are. I don't care how in between you are. You will never look in the mirror and be happy with yourself. I don't care what you look like. And when I look at a picture of myself, it's on this phone somewhere. I don't even know where to find it. Of myself back in the day, back when I thought I was fat. I want to go back and bitch slap myself. And I said this in a conversation on my channel so hard that I might die. I admire my dad. Him and his builder buddy do the Jaffa Cake Challenge where they race to finish 5 Jaffa cakes. So a lot of us watching, we'd think, what? But to him, it's just like something fun. Fuck it. You're only here in this meat suit for so long. And how much of your energy do you really want to take up with thinking, how many calories am I eating? How many salts am I eating? How many sugars am I eating? How many blah, blah, blah am I eating? I have wasted so much of my life. You have no idea how many meals I've turned down and how many people I've irritated with this whole quest of not being fat. And where has it gotten me? I've applied for a zip code for how fat I am. Sometimes I feel like genetically modified when I compare myself to my granddad. Doubt it. Really doubt it. He probably just didn't give a shit. Probably couldn't even tell you what he ate. Probably doesn't care. I mean, you still see it. I see it, especially here in New York, everywhere. I'm ultra aware of the fact that I am the biggest one no matter where I go. Like, there's a lot of tall people here. Like, I've never seen more 7-footers in my life. But hardly anyone is fat here. They don't pay attention most of the time I'm seeing people like just shoveling down hot dogs as they're walking down the street. The other day I saw somebody just dumping an entire box of Cheez-Its down his throat, and you just keep walking. He was like the size of my thumb. Just go out and walk somewhere and walk back and just eat. I cannot get into this. I just cannot. Like, I just can't, man. Like, I am going to do the salt thing because another thing, what's in hot dogs, what's in the cheese, a bunch of salt. Sometimes I feel like you might be on to something. I'm 67. I'm still fighting 100%, man. 100%. I mean, every day you look in the mirror and you say, you are a failure. And it's all because you put yourself on some diet however long ago. A lot of it's coming from, like, really think about it. Gyms didn't really exist. You're 67, so gyms were just kind of getting into the swing of things. Arthur Jones was just kind of creating the gym at that about 67 years ago, maybe about 70 years ago, maybe a little less. And prior to that, nobody thought about it. Nobody thought about any of this, but this gym culture, what did people do back in the day? They didn't have the tracking devices that we call smartphones that track everything you do. You pay to be tracked. And they just read, had sex, walked, did sex again. I mean, there was kids everywhere. And, I'd rather just have the not caring about what I eat sex thing going on than, whatever this monstrosity of a life is. But when they started taking that away from us. So like the cities in America started becoming, they started doing all these weird things in the cities to try to kick out the people. We all know the people that they kicked out, and then they started building these suburbs, and suburbs are absolute death. They are death. And so now all of a sudden, instead of just walking up the street like I do to go get groceries, you had to have a car. But now both parents had to have a car because you're in the suburbs in Deathville. And you're in your Deathmobile driving around in the death suburbs, dying a slow death. Smoking is no longer good. So then you have that weight loss away because smoking's bad. And then you have the companies that own the cigarettes realized that they weren't going to play the government's game. So what did they do? They started buying up all the food manufacturers, and then they started taking their idea of how to make things addicting, and they started putting it in the food and the food coloring and the food dyes. And you had people living out in the middle of nowhere, needed a car for everything, couldn't walk to anything. And so now you're in the car and you can't walk anywhere, and you're buying all this shit food that a cigarette company is now making that used to make cigarettes, but it's now making the food that you eat. And they start to genetically modifying the food, and you start eating this shit, and it's just a hot mess. But so not only did they take your ability to just kind of walk, like here, there's trains everywhere, there's buses, which I've never been on, and like taxis and shit. And you can take, like I can be anywhere in the city on foot, anywhere. And this is what cities used to look like all across this country and all across Europe. And so then all of a sudden people no longer are walking everywhere to get their stuff done. They don't have bags to just put on and carry their groceries home. You got to drive it home. And what do? They sell the gym membership to you. And they sell the gym membership, but nobody actually wants to go to the gym. Anybody who says that they like going to the gym, 90% of you are lying. 10% of you, I believe. And nobody wants to go. So then you're just sitting down, clicking in front of the TV, watching TV, eating your addictive, anything in it food that's made by a cigarette company, and everybody's wondering why they're fat. And then in the 1970s, I think it was, the seed oil was signed, and the seed oils were making the livestock so fat that they couldn't be used anymore. So then they started selling the shit to us, and then you got that coming into it. And so they started, instead of frying things in beef tallow or lard, which were saturated fat, which did no harm to us whatsoever. Now you're buying, or you're getting these seed oils, and everybody's getting fat from that. It's just a hot mess. It's just a hot mess. Even if you were just bathing in seed oils and whatever else, and you're just walking around, like I see it there's no, like no fat people. They might have a little stomach, but just, you see what has happened and everywhere. What you resist persists. You just nailed it. Kids, lots of them. They keep you again. Yeah, like I didn't even think about that part. You're popping out 10 kids. That shit's gonna keep you super active. For men and women. The man was going to work, but I mean, you're gonna have to do something when you get home, unless you're a deadbeat piece of shit. And and then also men usually were in charge of the yard work. But now we got automated fucking lawnmowers that do that. But even lawns, like I wish lawns were illegal. I hate them. I wish suburbs were illegal. Like if I ever become like Trump, I'm gonna get rid of the suburbs. I'm just gonna bomb them. Just get rid of them. Just turn them into farmland like they used to be. They're fucking. I hate them. I hate suburbs. And yeah, that's my speech. I should probably leave after that. But, I mean, honestly, this is a lot of what's happened to everybody. So, back to the original question that I think that started this entire rant is, my advice is, if you are early into this, you're looking to diet, don't do it. Just eat. I don't care what anybody says. They all call me lunatics and everything in my comment section anyway. Or the people making videos about me, whatever. But the whole thing, it will be a life sentence. I don't care how skinny, fat, or in between that you are. It's a life sentence. It really is. That's it. Was so happy I grew up when I did. I'm 30, and we had the upcoming modernity that was mixed with old school world. We were out all day eating 4 square meals and skinny as rails. Our parents used to, our mothers used to just kick us out and say, "Be back when the streetlights come on. I don't want to see you." I agree, Ryan. Anybody who doesn't agree with that statement, I'd really question what you're really thinking. Uh-oh. Oh, my camera just died. My camera overheated. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to work. I might have to just get going. All right, there it is. I'm going to have to just get a regular webcam because they don't overheat. Last 5 years seems like one big derealization event. Nothing feels the same. It's never going to be. It was never it was never what it was anyways. It was an illusion. This illusion that the people were living under for all these years is finally, it's being shown that it was an illusion. It was nonsense. You know, and since 1820, nothing has been what it seems. You know, but anyway, before this thing overheats again, I think I'm probably going to get out of here. It is definitely getting like ridiculous humid and hot in here in this apartment, and the camera can't cope. But that is my video. I did not intend for it to turn into what it did, but that is my answer to that question. Had I to do it all over again, I wouldn't have dieted at all. At all. Never would have started. Never would have done it. That's true, man, but the blissful ignorance was nice. Once you wake up, there's no going back. That's the problem with me. They call it black belt back in the day. I've known since single digits what was going on. I came here knowing. Got me in a lot of trouble. Lost a lot of friends, but teachers hated me. I could see it. I mean, even when I was in preschool, I used to talk about it. I said, "This is nothing but propaganda. You're just trying to create me into a minion that gets so much trouble." So they held me back a year because they thought it was too much of a troublemaker. And then the first day of first grade, threw my apple at the bus driver, told her to take me back home. I didn't want the propaganda. Yeah, I've always seen it. Always. I've been studying it since I was in my single digits, especially after Timothy McVeigh, who is just nothing but an FBI worker at this point, bombed the Oklahoma City thing. But anyway, that is going to be it for this before I turn into another complete supposed conspiracy theory outlet. And that's it. I'll ask every close friend from 2020 on opened your eyes to just how programmed and MK Ultra'd everyone is. You know, Canada actually sued their own government over MK Ultra and they won. That should tell everybody just how deep that went. It seemed to get really bad in the 60s. Cyclament sweeteners, Tab, Fresca, and they pushed people away from butter to margarine. Oh, they play the long game. They most certainly do. You can't. People were too smart back in the day. You couldn't pull this stuff back then. Now they're too busy, dyeing their hair green and acting like, men are acting like they have a vagina and whatever else. Calling themselves they, them. I guess they're multiple schizophrenics. I have no idea. But this is the type of people that you can just do whatever you want with because they just have no intelligence whatsoever. And, you know, dumb them down in school. I call it school prison camp. It's a hamster wheel for children. Well, you know, it's a 12-step program. You know, it goes after the Druids. The Druids used to have this 12-step program. You can turn anybody into anything you want to be within 12 steps. It's just, you know, like that's Merlin was actually a real person. He was in charge of the Druids, and he used a Hollywood, the wand made out of holly, and he thought he probably was. He used black magic, and that's why Hollywood's called Hollywood, is because it was after this black magic, Merlin, and the 12-step program here in America. School is 12 grades, and it's by the time you're in 12th grade, you're either part of the program or you're a complete outcast. There's no other options. And this just works. They work their magic with it. And that's that. But that doesn't have anything to do with me buying a zip or trying to get a zip code around me, my obesity. And yeah, or gaining 8 pounds. Do you know if you are going to resume sugar fasting when you return from your visit? I don't. I really don't. I probably will. I do like how it feels. But again, I'm even kind of getting tired of just dieting, period. I'm like getting tired of it. I've done it long enough. I feel like retiring. I'm actually looking forward to being out there because I'm not going to talk about what I eat. I'm just going to eat. I do have my sister getting me some sugar fasting stuff. And we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. I might come back here and it'll be only 260. And we'll see how that happens. I'll probably still make videos, but I'm really getting to the end of this whole thing. Now I know, and I'm happy for him. Like people like what the hell's going on out there? Chris from the Fabulous Body and everybody is, they're doing well with it. But me, I don't know. Maybe it is the salt. Maybe it's the lack of salt, because I've always hated salt so much that I avoid it at all costs. So it could be, a salt issue. If this thing takes off with the salt, then, we'll go from there. That's it. That is it of this shit. I think I'm going to end it here. Coming up in an hour. Been on here for like an hour and a half today. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see if a couple more come in, but I've had some lives where they were coming in so fast I didn't want to get off, but it's, it's like 8 o'clock already.
Today's going to be another exciting.
Oops. I was sent this video of Ray Pete where he used to eat 10,000 calories a day, and he never gained weight. So I might do a video about that. Maybe. All right. I don't see anything coming through, and I don't feel like talking anymore. But I'm glad, I was glad I did this. Glad to see everybody. And I'll probably do another one tomorrow. Possibly Saturday. I don't know about Sunday, though. Hey, Ryan, I hope you enjoy your vacation at your sister's place. Yeah, I'm going to watch her cats. My sister and I living together for 2 weeks, I don't think either one of us would make it out alive. That would never work. But, yeah, anyway. I'll talk to you, peace, in the next one, and see whatever we're talking about then. I'll see how the salt thing goes. And that's it. Thanks. Say hi to the cats for me. I don't even know if I'll see them. They hide usually most of the time. Not always. The one likes me. The other one, I've only seen once, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, anyway. That's it.